Arnold Allen here at Sun headquarters. How you doing, mate? But in fact, before we get into that, where's the almighty merchandise?
Oh, yes.
Where's it all? Like you're missing the opportunity to plug the brand, like.
No, it's tactical. I don't want to over rep because then I sell it too much, but then I come out with it a bit later and I'm like, boom. So then people forget a little bit. So it's tactical, strategic.
Fair enough. What's been the best-selling shirt? Surely it's the Arnold Numero Uno one.
Yeah, no, that was with a sponsor of mine. They did it, so
Okay.
I think it sold pretty good. And but yeah, the Union Jack one did pretty good, to be fair. And I didn't design it. My missus did it all.
Oh, did she? Fair enough. All right.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I kind of just told her. I said I want this, and she went boom, boom, and I'm like, sweet.
Fair enough. All right, we're not here to talk about your budding fashion career. We're here to talk about your fighting career. Obviously, 2 weeks on Saturday, you'll be headlining in Kansas against Max Holloway. Another headline event. I mean, how does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. It's nice to have a headline with fans there this time. Headlining at the Apex it's kind of bittersweet. It's like you're headlining, but it's like, what are you headlining? There's no one there. There's like a handful of people. It's headline. You get 5 rounds. That's the only difference. But to have a headline at an arena show with Max Holloway is a bit special.
But Kansas, right? I mean, like,
I've always wanted to go.
No, I suppose the UFC have to put good headliners events everywhere, and means you continue your tour because obviously you fought. Where have you fought? You most recently fought in Vegas.
I fought Raleigh in
Raleigh. That was a
yeah.
random. Yeah, so
I'd never heard of Raleigh before, and the next year it was everywhere. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're going to Raleigh.
Yeah, well, a bit disappointing that it's not taking place here, but obviously I'm sure you're not even thinking about that. This is just the biggest fight of your career. Is that a notion that you'd agree with?
Yeah, definitely. But it's I'm not approaching it any differently. I'm not stressing anymore about it. It's just another fight, and it's a good opportunity,
Yeah, so that led me into my next question. That was going to be because of the potential ramifications of a victory for you, is there any added pressure, and if so, how are you managing that?
No, I don't feel any extra pressure. It's the opportunity I want. It's an opportunity I ask for. It's very rare I ask for something, and it's very rare I get it when I do. So to ask for it and to get it and to have the opportunity in a headline event against Max Holloway is great. And I'm grateful in a way because a lot of great athletes, I train with so many guys that work their arse off for years and years and years and never get this opportunity to compete at the highest level, even though they have the ability, the skill, the work ethic, everything. They don't necessarily get the opportunity, and to be fortunate enough to get the opportunity to compete at the highest level with an ex-champion, ex-pound-for-pound #1 guy, someone so highly regarded, it feels great.
And you've come a long way from working the dogs at Felix, though, man. Come a long, long way. Have you sat back and taken stock of like the achievement of getting to the precipice of a title shot?
Yeah. Yes and no. It's all part of the journey, like I've loved the life I've been able to live, and I love the journey I'm on, and I'm enjoying it all day by day and all that. But I don't, I feel like the job's not done till the job's done. So makes some people sound one step away from a title shot, but it's still a million miles away in my mind,
And speaking about continuing with the journey, I heard from one of your coaches who will remain nameless. He said that back in the day that you were struggling for like train and fare money to get to training, and that you'd even have to like hive in. Like the train told us when the conductors came. I mean, I know you said that you're not going to reflect on everything until it's all said and done, but surely it must be, what's the word I'm looking for? It must, when you look back on it, you just must be like, oh my God, like I really have made it to a certain extent.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I can afford the train now, that's for sure. I don't have to hide in the toilet no more. But like as a kid, I set my sights so high that even where I am now, it's just like I haven't done nothing yet. I haven't done nothing. So it's a million miles away from what I want to achieve and what I plan to achieve. So if this is my peak, that will be very disappointed.
And what was the reaction from friends and family? You've got the big man Pacer sat outside here. What was the reaction when you actually got the fight that you called for with Max?
I think a lot of excitement, and maybe people feel the same way as me, is to compete at the highest level, and maybe people are starting to realise I'm all right at this, and I'm finally getting somewhere, Just getting the chance to have the opportunity. I think people realise, oh, actually, you're okay. You're not too bad after all. So it's nice. It's nice.
And what have you made of Max as of late? Because personally, for me, I think it's a bit difficult to gauge where he actually is, because obviously he came back, bounced back with the win over Yair, but obviously he's lost dominantly to Volkanovski. I know some people are saying that he's kind of maybe slid, or he's not the guy that he once was, but I don't think that's like necessarily a fair assessment. Would you agree with that notion?
Yeah, 100%. You know what? It's Volkanovski looked so good, and you fight him 3 times. Max arguably won 2 of those. And they're controversial. Yeah, I gave him at least 1, and the last one, no question, he obviously got dominated. But I think there's more credit to Volkanovski than a knock on Max, and then to see how good he looked against Islam, where I felt Volkanovski maybe got a win there. It was close, but it wasn't a robbery. But not too many people have took Islam to a close decision and arguably lost it. So I probably know.
Yeah, and another thing that when you bring up Max Holloway is damage, because in the last few fights I think he's absorbed the most fights. Absorbed the most strikes out of all the fighters, like in combined the last 3 fights. I mean, eventually your chin will go. It doesn't matter who you are. It's happened to Mark Hunt. It's happened to great fighters in the past. Do you think that's something that will eventually happen to Max? And if so, do you think you could be the one to finally stop it?
Yeah, I mean, I believe in my power. I know I know he's fought some heavy hitters. He's fought at lightweight and not been stopped. He's took a pasting off Dustin Poirier and kept going. But I think I believe I hit different, and not necessarily harder, but I've got something.
Yeah. And I was about to say, how do you motivate yourself to fight? I know there's a title shot on the line, but how do you motivate yourself to fight somebody who's like yourself, actually such a nice guy? I'm sure it's easy if somebody's a bit of a, well, I'm not going to swear, a bit of a D-head or whatever, but how do you motivate yourself to fight somebody as nice as Max?
It's, like I always say, it's never really, I've never fought anyone I disliked, and I've never had a personal agenda against anyone I fought. I've been quite fortunate. Ever I fought, it seemed to be quite all right, but yeah, it's just sport, isn't it? It's sport. Whatever you're doing, we're trying to out-skill, out-maneuver, and in this case, out-fight each other. So it just so happens the sport we chose is a combat sport, and we have to beat each other up. But there's no emotion to it. I just want to win and progress my career, and do better for me and my family.
Fair enough. And stylistically, there's this narrative among fans that you're the better grappler, Max is the better striker. When you break down the fight, when you and your team have broken down the fight, stylistically, how do you foresee it playing out without giving away too much of your game plan, obviously?
I think I feel I'm a better striker. One of the things he brings to the table is more than his abilities, his mental capacity, his toughness, his durability. Those are the things that are dangerous, not necessarily the skill set he's got. Obviously he is very skilled. He's an ex-world champion for a reason. But those aren't the things that threaten me. It's more his mental ability, his gamesmanship, all those things. Those are the things you have to be prepared for.
And obviously, title shot on the line here. For you, I don't know if Max wins, it'll be a hard sell for another fight against potentially Volkanovski. How do you foresee the fight between Volk and Yair playing out?
I think Volkanovski wins it pretty well. I think he wins it quite comfortably. Not a knock on Yair, just he's a very emotional fighter, Yair, and someone like Volkanovski is going to capitalize on that, and he's going to make it a bad night for you.
And I think that fight is currently targeted for July. That's what the reports are. So if all goes well, end of year fight between yourself and whoever is champion.
That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, no more London feet. There was a point where I was cursed for every year I was only getting the opportunity to fight in London. Now it's just like anything but London for me.
Were you a bit disappointed? Because I saw you cage side. Obviously, I know you were cheering on Leon. You've been training with them for a while. But were you a bit disappointed that didn't come to fruition for London?
Yes and no. It was it was nice to be there as a fan and to support and enjoy the moment. Obviously, Jai Herbert fought earlier in the night, and Leon obviously he did amazing. To see the fans show out for him and the way it was special. It was nice to be a part of that as a fan. And, if I was the co-main event spot on that, would have been very cool. But it's also cooler to have my own event and be the main event. And, not get overshadowed by Leon putting on such a good performance.
That's true. That's true. Did you go get a curry afterwards? Because I remember after the March, was it last March card?
Yeah.
I actually saw you driving and leaving the hotel to go to Brooklyn to go get a curry. Did you go get one again this time?
No, not this Saturday. I just went back to the hotel where the bed. It's a bit different when you're in camp.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I can imagine so.
Yeah.
Final question for me. I mean, I'm sure you've not grown up watching Max Holloway, but throughout the build-up in your ascent during the ranks, you've had your eye on Max.
Yeah, of course.
How do you foresee this fight playing out?
I think it's going to be two very exciting styles like clashing. You know, he's obviously, we know what he does. He walks forward. He's going to throw a lot of shots. He's going to take a lot of shots. I think I'll move a bit better. But yeah, it's going to be a high-paced fight. Whatever fight is a high-paced fight, right? And yeah, it's going to be a very high-paced fight. A lot of striking, and yeah, it's going to be good. Very high level. I think it's going to be the highest level sort of MMA you see. You know, that two peak strikers. I don't think he's fallen off in any way. I think he's going to bring his A game. He's got something to prove, and people writing him off and whatnot. And I'm definitely not writing him off. You know.
Arnold, pleasure as always. Appreciate it. It's good to do this in person and not on Zoom in your bedroom.
Yeah, no worries. Well, it's nice.
Thanks for the time.